Good morning and welcome to whatever date today is. I think it's the 15th or is it the 16th of September. Anyway, I've made a lot of videos trying to help people work their way through the various challenges of what's been going on in this life, and I'd like to make this video to help you to understand what I believe is going to be the next level. I believe the next level is going to be divide and conquer, separation, trying to get people to so strongly disagree with each other that they nearly become enemies. We've already seen the apprenticeship for this type of behaviour in relation to how people, families fell out because of who they voted for or they didn't vote for or whatever. And all of these things are literally just reminders to us of putting our values in place and understanding that who we are and what we are is far bigger than everything else. And as we buy more and more into the fear of what's going on around us, you're gonna see people who are very divisive and like consciously divisive, like setting out to separate us, really do that by stoking that fear and stoking separation. And the issue with that is it ends up out of control, and even the people who are stoking the fear end up losing control of it, because very quickly groups begin to come together, and our belief is the only belief. Now we've had this with all sorts of religions and all sorts of things in the past, and because I believe in cycles, I believe that we're destined to repeat sometimes, unfortunately, repeat the same mistakes over and over again. And what I think is going on here is that we are truly once again in danger of making those same mistakes over and over again. So what can I say to help people during this what I believe is the new phase? Well, the first thing I'd like to say is that just because of what we call the mechanics of life, i.e. the elections, presidential election in America, elections around the world, whatever, with the way that social media works now, people are being fed so much fake news that they're truly now being called to make sure that the fake news that is out there, that they don't just pass that on to each other. Even if it sounds like it's true or whatever, you need to feel into this for yourself. You need to utilize your meditation tools, your contemplation tools, and you truly need to now start to understand the process that is important here. And so let me explain this process to you that I think would be valuable for anybody who really wants to get through the turmoil, specifically in October of this year. Like, we're going to see things on our social media feeds. I'm not on social media, by the way. But when I say we, I'm talking humanity, because of what I'm seeing. We're going to be fed news, we're going to be fed pictures, and there's nothing new in this. The speed of it is only the difference now, because we have been getting fed this sort of stuff for lifetimes, to be honest, right? Propaganda, all of this sort of stuff. And you might sort of say, hey, what has this got to do with spirituality? Well, it actually has everything to do with spirituality, because the idea of what's going on now is the time to remember, actually, that we are beings of energy, and that the energy we give something helps it to grow. And of course, everything we take away from that something helps it to die off. So if we really want certain aspects of what's going on at the moment to die off, let me suggest that we begin to withdraw our energy from that. And I'm not talking about putting your head, in the sand and, hiding from this. I'm talking about, truly sitting with everything that's going on here and asking ourselves, are we humanity? And are we made up of various, colours and various ideas and various beliefs? Yes, we are. And that's what makes this garden of humanity so beautiful. Yes, we have a green background, but, if you tilt that way, you have the blue of the sky, and you have the, grey of the hair, or, the colour of the skin. But all of these things just make us not different. They make us uniquely part of the same. Because when you go beyond all of that, that's when you will begin to find what I'm talking about. So this is truly what it is I'd like you to think about specifically, as I say, over the next little while, okay? The first thing is that you understand how your mind works in regards to what's going on. So your mind is very much like a computer, okay? Now, what do I mean by that? Well, effectively what I mean by that is that you have literally got the capacity to store information, as does a computer, right? And as you're storing that information, it's stupid information, it's just stored, it's just there. Jung would have called this information storing the shadow side, if you want a practical or technical name for it, right? Okay, so what we have to do is, when we store this information, we have to process it. Because if we don't process it, it's like, feeding ourselves our dinner and then just continuing to eat even though we don't need any more nourishment, because we don't need to put any more food into our system. So we need time to digest. And another word for digest in what's going on now is process. So we need to process what's going on, okay? From our storage point, we need to process it. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to process it from an individual basis and then a collective basis. So individually, is there any part of what's going on in the world at the moment that I'm helping along, okay? And if so, if I process it now and realize, oh my God, I've been, passing on videos or whatever and just causing more fear or anxiety or depression or whatever it is, well, I need to stop that now, don't I? But I won't if I don't actually process it. And the speed at which this information is coming at us now, as I say, we're not actually taking any time to process it. And that's going to be really, really important for you and your family, specifically over the next coming months. So, is this fear-based video? No, it's not. It's actually very practical, and I hope you understand it's full of love and compassion and understanding and, realization, because, everybody talks about spiritual realization. Well, these things are really happening on our planet right now. So that's a realization. And it might be time for you to realize this. And if you realize it, you awaken. And if you awaken, you become your own master. And if you become your own master, you can begin to truly help those who are still stuck in the Maya or the illusion of what's going on. So, as I say, over the next, specifically the months before the American election, you're just going to see it go absolutely wild. You're going to see people take to the streets with weapons and craziness, and it's because there's no leadership anymore. If anybody with integrity shows up with any sort of leadership skill, they're attacked. They're literally attacked, and they're attacked because people with agendas don't want people to be empowered. Okay, so from your storage and your processing, you then bring it into what we call the individual concept of who you are. As I say, what are you providing? What are you adding or subtracting from the scenario? Okay, and then you go into the collective, which is the whole of humanity. Now, we're not here to save humanity, and we're not even here to save other people, because either people want to help themselves or they don't. They want to save themselves or they don't. And again, keep in mind that everything that has brought us to here now has been an apprenticeship. Like I've seen people get to a stage where they begin to believe things about me, say for instance, right? And they take that belief and they don't actually check it out. They don't actually ask me personally, what or how or why. They just take it because they heard it from somebody else. And that's nonsense. That's just complete nonsense, because in order for you to be empowered, what you have to do is sit with something and see, does it resonate with you? As in our world that I believe is beginning to format now, I actually think that Mother Nature is really at this stage, Mother Nature is beginning to be angry at us. And anger, of course, is associated with fire energy. And fire energy, as we know, is something that is a huge problem on the planet at the moment, specifically in certain areas of the world. And unfortunately, good people are being caught up in these fires, these forest fires, and are losing their homes, and in some cases even losing their lives. And my understanding, and I don't want anyone to believe anything I'm saying. Like, as I say, it's information. You store it, then process it, and then integrate it into your life or take it out of your life. That's called the empowerment process. Okay, so but what I believe is beginning to happen now is that Mother Nature has looked at us, right, and basically went, you know what, if you guys are going to continue to cut down the rainforests for greed purposes, because that's what it comes down to now, is greed, right? If you're going to cut down these forests for greed in order to make more furniture that you actually don't need, it'd be far better to sit on the ground and ground yourself, or all of those sort of things, or just a natural tree that falls in the forest, you can cut that up into wood. But to be getting so greedy now that we're cutting into our own resources, into our own cosmic body, into our own lungs, because that's what trees are. They are our lungs, and we are now not able to breathe. Okay, and so what we need to really understand now is, okay, if Mother Nature is saying, okay, if you guys want to continue to be greedy, cutting down the forest to build more concrete houses, or raise more livestock so you can harm each other and eat each other and whatever, I'll help you. And so she blows through her nostrils the fire, and we need to begin to look at the balance of that. So how can we soothe Mother Nature? Well, we can soothe her by pouring some gentle water on her, not trying to drown her out, but gentle water. How can you do that? Well, one of the ways is plant a tree and go pesticide free. Now, as simple as that may sound, if everybody on the planet was just to plant a single tree, look at this beautiful tree. Look at that. Look, V for victory. This tree, look, it's V, peace. It's looking for peace. Look, so if everyone was just to plant a tree, our consciousness would begin to change. Believe it or not, I believe this. As crazy as I am, right? I believe if everyone was to plant a tree, we would begin to soothe Mother Nature, and Mother Nature in turn would begin to help us again. And I believe that what these fires will do, and hopefully, God bless anybody who's caught in them, but hopefully they will allow us a chance of a new beginning. And so I leave you with this sort of question, like, do you want a new beginning where children are, masked up, where they're tied up, where they're not allowed to hug each other, not allowed to go out really in nature and understand it more? Or, what type of future do you want? It's up to you to decide, each and every one of us individually. And then if enough of us come together, it'll become a collective forest of enchantment and magic again. And I do hope that enough people now will come together, stop separating. One of the great things that you can do in life is reach out to somebody who you haven't talked to in a long time because you misunderstood something, and just say, I misunderstood. Look, can we meet for coffee? Can we get back together again? Let's get on with our lives. Life is too short. These are the sort of healing, forgiving, simple exercises we can do. Plant a tree, go pesticide free, because, as I say, you have to get to this point now in your life where you are either participating in life or you're running scared from life. That's going to be your call. So, as I say, meditate, pray, serve, do whatever you need to do. Step out into the light like I just have. Step out into the light, be the light you are, and do the process. It's only information, that's all. Everything that you've got is information. Have you processed it properly? Have you processed it deeply enough? And have you then brought it to an individual responsibility point? And then from the individual responsibility point, can you then support the collective of humanity? All right, so enjoy your day, and on this very beautiful September morning in Ireland, I wish you all love and respect, and I wish you all well. Thank you for listening and taking your time to listen to this message, and I hope it helps you and your family into the future, specifically on the run up to the Holy Feast of Christmas. Bye.